Do you want? Okay. Well, then that's all we're waiting for. Are you good over there? You ready?
Yeah.
Huh? Okay.
I hope that motion sense isn't too strong for you guys. My apologies if it is.
Okay, if anyone wants to sign up for public comment, there's a sign up, or you can wait till the item if you would like to speak at that time. But. All right, not all at once. So. All right. We're good, yeah? Okay. All right, we'll call the meeting to order at 6:01. We've got place 1, Crystal Johnson's present, place 2, Dawn Smith is present. Place 3, Karen Skinner is absent. Place 4, Kyle Kennedy is present. Place 5, Candace Stone is present. Place 6, Brittany Murray is present, and place 7, Sina Tidwell, myself, is present as well. Okay. Go ahead and stand for the invocation, please.
Be honored. You would please bow your heads or however you respect this particular session. Heavenly Father, we come to you in one accord with our hearts, strengths, and minds on the journey towards positivity, prosperity, and pure success of our town of Auburn, Texas. We ask that you enlighten our hearts and our minds, as well as opening them to the views and the perspectives that may be presented tonight. On one accord, we all again ask that our journeys home be safe and lifted with prayer, and of course, giving us a restful and peaceful night. In Jesus' name, we ask and pray these things. Amen.
Amen. All we read is in the pledges.
Sure.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Under the flag of society, the pledge allegiance to thee,
Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. Community announcements. Items of community interest may include recognizing citizens and staff for outstanding contributions to the community, a reminder about an upcoming event that is organized or sponsored by the governing body, and announcements of an imminent threat to public safety that has arisen after the posting of this agenda. Do we have any community announcements? Moving on to citizens input, any person may address the commission. If your comments are concerning an agenda item, you may wait until the discussion on that item if you prefer. Once recognized by the chairperson, please step forward to the speaker's podium, state your name and address, and speak directly into the microphone so that the people in the room and those attending remotely can hear comments and see presentations. To request to speak via video conference, click on participants at the bottom of the screen and click raise hand. The chairperson will acknowledge your request and allow you to speak. Citizen comments are limited to 3 minutes per individual unless additional time is otherwise required by law. No discussion or action may be taken at this meeting on any item not listed on the agenda or other than to make statements of factual information or recite existing policy in response to a citizen's inquiry. One more time. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and move to new business. For items 1 and 2, I actually have some legal questions. So the Planning and Zoning Commission reserves the right to adjourn into closed session at any time during the course of the meeting to consult with its attorney regarding any regarding any of the matters listed on the document authorized by Texas Government Code Section 551.071, consultation with the attorney.
Just to clarify, so that is, we're recessing in for items 1 and 2, correct?
That's correct.
All right, thank you. Did she?
The time is 6:04. Yes, 6:04. Okay. We're at new business. Item 1, consider and make a recommendation to city council regarding a preliminary plat of High Point Ranch being approximately 460.75 acres out of the Francisco Trevino Survey, abstract number 1243, generally located east of Highway 377, south of East Blackjack Road and north of Spring Hill Road. Good evening, Helen Eve.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Helen E. Beadle, and I am your city planner this evening. So the first item on the agenda is the High Point Ranch preliminary plat, and you all are considering taking action on a recommendation to the city council on the overall development for High Point Ranch. So the preliminary plat was previously approved with conditions in March of 22. And the properties being final platted in phases, you all have already approved some of those. And although the development's making progress, the Aubrey Code provides for an expiration. It's common in a lot of communities to have preliminary plats and even final plats expire. So this one expired 2 years from the approval. However, phase 1A, 1B, and 1C applications were submitted prior to the expiration date of the overall preliminary plat. So the applications for the final plats weren't received prior to the plat application, and there are some phases that are called the west phases, 2 through 5, that encompass the commercial tracts in east phases 1 through 3. The applicant has since submitted an application for consideration and approval of this preliminary plat. This is the overall development plan, concept plan. As I mentioned earlier. Let's see, is it the top button to the pointer? Thank you. The preliminary plats for the overall property, and it includes some commercial tracts along 377. You have some previous phases that have already been final platted and others that we are looking at tonight. It is approximately 1,452 lots, varying in different lot sizes from 40-foot lot widths to up to 75. There will be an amenity center and a number of open space lots to provide for landscaping, detention, and other uses. So the preliminary plat is no longer accurate due to lot configuration with final plats 1A and 1B. Some street configurations might have changed here or there. And there's right of way being dedicated for Spring Hill and Blackjack Road. And one of the items that is still has not been received is the easement for Upper Trinity Regional Water District for surface water supply. So that's something that is needed to support this entire development. On the left, you'll see the High Point West Phase 1A and as well as the High Point 1A preliminary plat and final plat. So this evening, the High Point Ranch preliminary plat is recommended for denial subject to the following conditions. And I'm sorry, I'm going to go through every one of these. I believe there's 8 or 9 this evening. So an acceptable corridor through the Upper Trinity Regional Water District, securing that facility as well as that easement is required to be able to support the adequate public facilities policy. The failure to provide fees pursuant to the development agreement is required for the development of the property, with proper utilities for city reimbursable public improvements are to be paid to developer via the TERS and identified in section 3.2 of the development agreement. And you can see there are explanations for that condition. The next item is failure to pay fees for public infrastructure improvements imposed on the property owner as determined by the city engineer to be roughly proportionate to the demand created by the development. And the next one has to do with the updating the preliminary plat. It's no longer accurate due to changes in the final plat. For phases 1A and B, those changes have impacted street alignment on the remainder of the property, and it needs to be amended to reflect current conditions. So we have a final plat this evening for 1B, and it doesn't match the area in the preliminary plat. The required HOA documents have not been submitted with the preliminary plat as required by the subdivision ordinance. These sections of the code are listed up there, as well as the previous ones. Submission procedures and city review processes for all plats have not been completed. This has to do with the property owners. You have to have all of the existing, current today property owners sign up on a plat application. And we're not sure that those have been secured, probably for the properties along 377. And I believe some of the ownership entities have changed. Let's see, an engineering summary report was not provided with the application. The property owner has not submitted written statement signed and affirming that the plat was filed with the city within the filing window that's prescribed in the ordinance. The preliminary plat extension allows council to determine if land will be developed in a timely fashion and the public interest is served. Failure to pay public infrastructure fees does not serve the public interest, and the public infrastructure fees must be paid. The correct name, address, phone, and email for the record owners is not correct on the plat, so those need to be updated. Proof of land ownership for the entire preliminary plat, we touched on that earlier. So this evening, you all have the options to approve the preliminary plat, approve the preliminary plat with conditions, deny the preliminary plat. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Your city staff also has a lot of history on this development. And the applicant engineer is here this evening if you have any questions. Do you have a presentation?
Good evening, Thomas Fletcher with Kimley Horn. I'm the engineer for the owners of this tract. I guess really what I would like to say is a few weeks ago, we got a call from Leanne with the city letting us know that they felt that the preliminary plat for our project had expired because it had reached the 2-year time frame. On previous projects and in consultation with the owner and the owner's attorney, per the Texas Local Government Code, section 245.005B, it states a regulatory agency may enact an ordinance, rule, or regulation that places an expiration date of not less than 2 years on an individual permit if no progress has been made towards completion of the permit. So with this project, it's 1,452 lots. It has a commercial component, it has an amenity center component, it has a municipal park component. It is a long-term master plan project. It wouldn't be typical or reasonable for that all plats to be submitted within that 2-year time frame. Based on the Texas Local Government Code, because we have continued to show progress, it is our belief that our preliminary plat is not expired. At the request of the city and discussions with Leanne, I asked the question, if we submit the original submittal, which obviously the conditions that Helen has provided for denial are because there are things that have changed. There's additional owners. Some of the plan has been revised. The original preliminary plat, when done and approved, didn't account for the Upper Trinity Regional Water District easement. When the city and Upper Trinity Regional Water District approached us, we said, yes, we can work with you to provide an easement for water service to the city. As we went through that process, because the development agreement stipulates a 30-foot easement for Upper Trinity along the perimeter of the site. When we looked at where that water easement needed to go, Upper Trinity came back and said, we need 80 feet because there's going to be multiple lines. So we worked with the city, we worked with Upper Trinity, all in good faith to provide the location of the 80-foot easement through the middle of the site. It's been planned for. Probably about 30 days ago, we provided the engineers for Upper Trinity our plans for that portion of the project. when we went through phase 1A with Upper Trinity, they have a lot of stipulations to their easements. They don't want to allow grading. They don't want to allow appurtenances. And we said, okay, we've got to do our design first so that we can make sure that we're able to grade our property the way we need to in order to provide our development. We have sewer crossings that we have to provide. So we worked with them. They ended up signing off on our design for phase 1A. Because we weren't working and doing the other part of the development, we started doing the mass grading design, the infrastructure design, so that we could prepare plans to provide to Upper Trinity for their evaluation of how that would impact their proposed future water lines. So that's in process. So although that easement has not been granted yet, there's coordination, there's ongoing coordination effort going on. A lot of the things that are mentioned in here, if the preliminary plat is deemed expired and that's the legal right, then yes, a lot of that would need to be updated to reflect the current conditions. We were making this resubmittal based on the request of the city and asked the question of, are we going to take it forward with a recommendation of approval as is, basically reinstating the existing preliminary plat. And the indication that I received is that was going to be the case. So I'll say that I'm a little surprised because I was not aware of this recommendation or these conditions. But if this is the path, if the plat is denied, then obviously we'll regroup with the city and work forward. Obviously, this is a big development for the city. We're excited about the development. We think it's going to be a great asset to the city. And I think things are progressing. I know there's been some discussions on funding and timing and all of that. And I know that the owners in the city maybe have a different opinion of what that looks like, but I do think that progress has been made. I know that the developers had sent over kind of a cost participation agreement to the city today for review, so that hopefully that can progress. But we do feel like, based on the Texas Local Government Code, that the preliminary plat isn't legally expired. Again, that's our owner's opinion based on their attorney, and obviously the city attorney has a different opinion of that. But happy to answer any questions, but I did want to state that for the record.
Thank you. Do y'all have any questions for him?
No questions here.
Thank you. I had some questions for Leanne. 1 and 2 stood out to me because it was the water itself and then the wastewater. And that's a lot of homes. And does that puts, what does that do to our existing residents if this isn't taken care of?
So the corridor for the surface water is part of our master plan.
Okay.
It's to serve future development, so it doesn't affect our current residents.
But it would
But
affect.
but it
these
would affect any
1,400.
development, yes.
Okay. That's a good point. Does anybody else have any questions, any concerns you'd like to discuss?
No.
Would anybody like to make a motion or make a move to motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion.
I will
I did
make
that to
a
you, I'm sorry.
motion to deny.
Okay,
Second.
What, are you gonna add the
Right,
condition?
the condition. are
I'm
you-
not adding any conditions. I think it
Conditions,
should be
one-
flat denied.
No, ma'am.
Condi-
no.
Based on the conditions 1 through 8. is
Oh,
that-
yes, based on that, but I didn't mean it was,
Okay, so,
yes, denied on conditions 1 through 8.
okay, so Candace is making a motion to deny based on conditions 1 through 8. Was it Brittany, you were seconding that? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? It passes 6-0. Okay, moving to item number 2, consideration and make a recommendation to city council regarding a final plat of High Point Ranch Phase 1B being 44.215 acres in the Francisco Trevino Survey, abstract number 1243, City of Aubrey, Denton County, Texas, located immediately east of US 377 being Spring Hill Road, FM 428, on the south and east Blackjack Road on the north within the city limits of Aubrey. Melanie.
Thank you. So this final plat for phase 1B is contained within the preliminary plat. And it is right around the 377 area and along the northern property boundary is their main entry road. It has, so let me go to the next slide. This is a new entry road, median sign, as well as an entry statement that's being proposed. And I'm trying to remember that street name, Bronco. It's right at Bronco and 377. So you can see it's a really nice statement and appearance of arrival for the community. However, there's a difference in what was in the original plat and even the preliminary plat. And what you see on the left is what's being proposed now. The applicant's been working with staff and the city engineers to make sure all of the improvements being proposed are matching. This is the overall final plat for phase 1B. It has 184 residential lots and 5 HOA lots. And the city engineer has reviewed and approved some modified engineering plans. There are 12 lots that are in existing floodplain or flood zone, and the plat notes state that the applicant will be working to degrade that property, and a letter of map revision working with FEMA is being worked on right now. And there still needs to take, or it has taken place, coordination with the school district and utilities that took place with the previously approved plats. So this evening, this one, the final plat for phase 1 is being recommended for denial, subject to the following conditions. And most of them are the same that you saw on the previous one for the preliminary plat. So the first one has to do with the Upper Trinity Regional Water District. The second one has to do with some performance requirements for the development agreement, failure to pay fees for the public infrastructure, updating the preliminary plat so that it matches what you're approving on the final plat. And the preliminary plat, once again, is inconsistent. We have spelled out the different sections of the code as required for any type of denial. The landscaping, irrigation, and screening plans have not been submitted, and that's also a code requirement. The required HOA documents have not been submitted, and the submission procedures for all types of plats. Don't believe that the letter's been sent to AISD regarding the number of homes in the proposed development. And when you see this plat again, some other items that will need to occur before the plat can be filed are the signatures, the tax certificates, just the processing fees that's required at the county and to take it forward. So this evening, the options are to approve the final plat, approve it with conditions, or deny the final plat. And once again, I'm available for any questions and the applicants here this evening.
How many, I'm sorry, I lost count.
Okay, let's go. Oops.
What? The last one was like 1 and 2. Is that a,
Eight.
so is that a continuation of 8?
Mhm.
Okay, I just want to make sure we weren't starting over.
Thank you.
Good evening again. Thomas Fletcher with Kimley Horn. I'm a consultant for the owner, the applicant. We already have an approved final plat for phase 1B. After that plat was approved, as the developer started looking at the entry, they wanted to do something a little bit nicer for the entry of the community. They wanted to create a divided entry and a nice monument for the project. That entry monumentation, because it is. Bless you.
Excuse me, I
Yeah,
apologize.
no, you're fine. That entry monumentation, because it exceeded the size allowed within the ordinance, we went through public hearings to get approval. I can't remember what I guess it's the ZBA, the zoning Board of Adjustments. I think we went through that process. and got approval on that. Our landscape architecture team presented to that. So the only thing I want to add tonight is if this does get denied, then I would imagine our owner will have to take into consideration pulling this application prior to city council so that they just move forward with the original approved plans and plat, because we do have that approval. The only thing this plat is doing is accommodating that entry feature. It's changing the plat so that we have a divided entry to accommodate for that entry feature. So I just want to share that with you so that you have that for consideration as you make your recommendation to council.
Okay,
And
thank you.
happy to answer any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Fletcher?
No.
Thank you. I'm really excited about the completion of High Point Ranch and what it will bring to the community, but I am concerned with item number 4 with the accuracy. If anybody would like to else?
Well, that was one of my concerns. It's the plat consistency. I think that stands out to me the most.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, we have final plat, approval. Does it say that we change the plat, that's what we've already given approval? And it seemed like good business.
I have a hard time approving anything that's not accurate.
Well, would you give it?
Alright,
make a motion
I will make a motion to deny.
Based on
I'm
items?
sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, go ahead, go ahead. You're making a motion to based on items 1 through 8.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
And I'll second.
Don's making a motion. Crystal is seconding. All in favor? Any opposed? It passes 6-0. Item number 3, consider and make a recommendation to the city council regarding site plan for Wind Ridge Phase 1B, Lot 4X, Block E, and the right-of-way abandonment proposed lot R4R1 being approximately 1.66 acres, land out in the William Lumpkin Survey, abstract number 730 within the city of Aubrey, Denton County, Texas. Hey, Helena.
You're gonna hear a lot from me this evening.
Uh,
This one's an exciting item. It's the new fire station site over in the Wind Ridge community. A little location map for you. It's right off of 1385 in Wind Ridge Boulevard. And you all are considering making a recommendation to city council on what was phase 1B lot 4X block E. They are proposing a site plan to provide for the fire station, a pavilion area, park area, playground. The site plan is divided within 2 sections on the site plan sheet. And up to the north or to the top of the sheet, you have the northwest corner of the overall lot. And then further down is the eastern portion of the lot. And this is the Wind Ridge Boulevard, and then 1385 is right out here. This is a little bit of a detail so you can see the fire station site with the parking for public parking and then secured parking to the east. We also have the pavilion in the bottom left-hand corner and a park and trail area in the remaining property. The city worked with the developer and the homeowner association to acquire this lot. And the city's also adding or abandoning some right-of-way that's not needed. It hasn't been used in public, in the street section. So it'll allow the opportunity to provide for the fire station site. The site plan application includes the required elevations. It also included the required landscaping. And the site plan is recommended for approval subject to a photometric plan for the site lighting, meeting the lighting standards, that be submitted and approved prior to any permits for exterior lighting. This is to protect adjacent homeowners to make sure we don't have any lighting or glare conditions being added to their properties. The the project engineer shall submit a statement of compliance with the city's subdivision and engineering design standards. And the lot configuration and associated utility and visibility easements at the northeast corner of the site needs a little bit of work and modification. So those are the three conditions. This evening, you have the options of approving the site plan with conditions, or denying the site plan. And I'm not sure if staff would like to say anything about it, but they are very excited about moving forward with the site plan and development for the new fire station.
Any questions?
I do. Is this my neighborhood?
Okay.
The fire station, I'm trying to understand where it's gonna be. Is it gonna be all, like, they're gonna open up into Windridge Boulevard? So what is that, the circle right there? Go back.
Okay.
I see the pavilion in the middle. Is that the fire station?
The fire station is gonna be on the western side. This is Ashland Circle on the west, and Ashland Circle comes along the western boundary and along the frontage of these lots, and it comes back up to Windridge Boulevard. So that makes a U, and on the western side is where the fire station will be located. And then on the eastern portion is where you see a pavilion immediately adjacent
Okay.
to secured parking in the pavilion. And then here's the park area playground with the associated trails.
Gotcha. Okay. I was just trying to put it.
Like those trails.
That's my only question. Want to know the layout. Oh, yeah, I'm making a motion to approve the conditions. Or do we?
So conditions.
Right.
It's 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
13.
Approve with three conditions.
Okay, Kyle's made a motion to approve with the three conditions. Would anybody like to second that?
I'll second.
Don's seconding the motion. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, it passes 6-0. Item number 4, consider and make a recommendation to the city council regarding a replat for Windridge Phase 1B Lot 4X Block E and the right-of-way abandonment proposed Lot 4R1 being approximately 1.66 acres of land out of the William Lumpkin Survey, abstract number 730 within the city of Aubrey, Denton County, Texas.
So per Aubrey's development code, what comes after your site plan is a plat, and the property's already been platted. So this evening, you're looking at a replat. And this is an aerial image to show you what I was talking about earlier. This is Ashland Circle, 1385 Windridge Boulevard. And there was a really wide right-of-way for Windridge Boulevard. And the city is abandoning this portion of the right-of-way and adding it to the overall lot 4X, which is now 4R1. So that's how we are increasing the size of the property to accommodate the guest parking, the fire station site, the pavilion, secured parking, as well as the park and playground areas.
Oh, are we looking at the from Fish Trap, and I'm just trying to visualize, are we looking at that second? Never mind, that's Union Park, never mind, I've got you. Never mind.
That's a
We're all on the same page.
marvelous.
Yes, you understand what I was asking. Mhm.
And the screen has the proposed new lot configuration through the replat. And up in the right-hand corner is an area we're working with the city engineer as well as their surveyor on this particular area to make sure we provide the adequate amount of right-of-way in that area. And the recommendation for the replat, some of these are from the previous one, is that the project engineer shall submit a statement of compliance with the city's subdivision and engineering design standards. The Windridge HOA signature block shall be removed. They are no longer owners. The city of Aubrey owns the lot. And the Windridge HOA references shall be removed from the notes because they're no longer participating. And the lot configuration and associated utility and visibility easements shall be revised to follow the existing right-of-way and provide for the parkway and sidewalks at the northeast corner of the site. I'll be happy to answer any questions. You have the opportunity to approve the replat or approve it with conditions or deny.
So you don't have any additional questions?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve with conditions 1 through 4.
And I'll second that.
Okay. Crystal made motion and Brittany has seconded. All in favor? Any opposed? It passes 6-0. Okay. Item number 5, consider and make a recommendation to city council regarding a final plat for Saratoga Phase 1 containing 14 residential lots, 3 open space lots, 1 lift station lot, and 15.477 acres of land in the T Chambers Survey abstract number 223 within the extraterritorial jurisdiction of the city of Aubrey, Denton County, Texas. Hi, Helene.
So these next 3 items are encompassed in the area in red that you see, generally at the northwest corner of FM 2931 and Blackjack Road East. And this will be the Saratoga 1 and 1A, and I believe 2A. But we'll go through each one separately. The first one is for the Phase 1, which is really the overall improvements and some residential lots, some detention lots. And it's 14 residential lots, 3 open space, and also a lift station lot. So the city council had approved a preliminary plat for this property back in 22. And it's for the overall development. And as we saw in a previous project, once you have a preliminary plat, then you start eating away with the final plat. So that's what we're doing this evening with 3 different phases for Saratoga. The property is governed by an ETJ development agreement. That's the Clear Sky Mud. And the plat is generally consistent with the approved agreement and standards. The utilities are provided by Mustang Utility District, and the other providers are CoServe and AT&T. The city engineer has reviewed the construction plans, and there's a review letter in the packet, the agenda packet that's online, with just a few little things that they're working out. And this is the overall
Folks, pardon the interruption, but if you can hear me, it appears you're on mute. City of Aubrey, you are on mute.
Questions, I should have all understood.
Everything seems administrative to me as far as the condition.
Okay, so would anybody like to, thank you. Would anybody Candace seconded the motion. All in favor? Any opposed? It passes 6-0. Item 9, consider and make a recommendation to city council regarding an amending for Blackjack Edition lots 3R and 2R, Block A, and lots 2R1 and 3R1, Block A, containing 2 lots in 27.847 acres of the Thomas White Survey, abstract number 223, within the city of Aubrey extraterritorial jurisdiction.
Allows to do an amending plat, to move a lot line. So this was the previous lot line, and they're just moving it a little further south. But we are required to process them through P and Z and city council. We have a condition that the requirements for filing, when everything's complete, all of the tax certificates, any type of filing fees, the number of copies, everything that's required to make that final step, that's really the only outstanding item for this piece of property. The amending plat's recommended for approval, and you have the ability tonight to approve it or approve it with conditions or deny the amending plat. And I believe the applicant is either here or online. Y'all are here. Is there anything you'd like to say?
No, nothing in particular, we just kind of like, silver and the other fire.
Okay.
It's kind of like, because we are going to expand.
Okay. It's understandable. Thank you. Did you need to state his name or anything? Yes. Can you state your name and your address? Sorry, if it has to be for the record.
Should I?
If you, yeah,
Oh,
please.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Want to make sure we did this right.
Yeah, so my name is Shankar Govindarajan. I'm one of the owners of the property on the north. And the LLC name is Blackjack LLC, 1555 Blackjack LLC. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you don't mind spelling that first, city sir.
Second it.
All right. I think, I made a motion, Brittany seconded. Any all in favor? Any opposed? It passes 6-0. Item number 10, consider and make a recommendation to city council regarding a replat for VR Estates Lot 3A1 and lots 3A11 and lots 3A12, containing 2 lots in 3.626 acres of the T Chambers Survey, abstract number 223, within the city of Aubrey extraterritorial jurisdiction, Denton County, Texas.
All right, this is a VR Estates replat. It was originally platted. Need to do that. In a larger area that encompassed some other properties. And what we're looking at this evening are just these two lots. Underneath, you can see the red outline. That was the original lot 3A1. And they're carving out a lot. So that's why it's a replat. It's not like the other two we had where they were amending plats where we were just moving a lot line. So this is a real replat. The applicant has submitted the application to divide it into two lots. The access easements are provided for the new lot being created. And this is a portion of the plat exhibit for the replat. And this one too just has some minor conditions that the final fees, tax certificates, signatures, anything that's required to actually physically file it at the county needs to be followed through. And staff is recommending the approval of the replat. You can approve the replat, approve it with conditions, or deny the replat. And do we have a representative?
Only here to answer questions.
Does anybody have any questions?
No, seems pretty straightforward.
No, I'll take a motion to approve.
All right, so with,
Second.
or you wait, you can motion to
No,
approve with
one.
condition
With
or
the
without?
conditions.
Okay, with the condition, one. Okay, and are you seconding that?
Yes,
motion?
I am.
Okay, just want to make sure. Clarity,
Sorry.
it keeps Patricia happy. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Candace seconded. Right. The final item we have gotten here. Item number 11, consider an action on the minutes of the April 11th, 2024 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting.
I make a motion to approve it.
I have a
I got it.
I have an amendment to the minutes.
Okay.
I'm showing that we actually started the meeting at 6:02, so if we could just make that one change. And I think Jenny's got that under control.
I make a motion, approve that, or,
With
yes,
what?
approve that with the condition, yeah, with the condition that Jenny and Clyde are working on.
I'll second it.
I'm gonna,
Kyle seconded it. All in favor? Any opposed? It passes to 0. We adjourned at 7:18.
Happily.
Happily.